Okay, I'm going to set it up. And I'm going to tap the screen to make sure you're focused. And here's what we're going to do today. So I have some bottles that are less than half full. So for these, I'm going to mix and put back in the bottle for the black and white. Then I have some of these harder, they're a lot firmer bottles. See how these just pink and break? These are really firm. So I'm going to pre-mix black and white for hopefully enough to do the rest of the month. And then I'm going to mix a bottle of each of the other basic colors that I use all the time. We're also going to be adding some new colors if I have enough bottles. I have a new Craft Smart premium metallic copper that just came in, and it looks beautiful. I still haven't opened the seal, but I did to see the color. I also have a new metallic gold. Instead of Craft Smart, I'm now trying out the Flow acrylic from Artist Loft, mainly because I've had a lot of success with the Artist Loft Flow acrylics, especially the white. Had a lot of issues with other whites. So we're going to see if this works out better than the Craft Smart that I've been using. I finally got my jug, my gallon jug of, 1.9 liter jug of yellow in. And then I got some of my other colors in, so if I have enough bottles, we'll go ahead and pre-mix some of my other colors. If not, then I'll just do the basic colors, and then any extra colors I want to add, I can mix. We had an issue due to the storm with the floeteol. So my closest Lowe's to me, which is still a town over, doesn't carry the gallon jugs. All they carry are these quarts. And a quart at Lowe's is $7 something, like $7.89, so almost $8. Where a gallon is $13.94. So I had been going 3 towns over to get the gallon jugs, but because that town is currently underwater, I talked to the manager at my closer Lowe's store, and he agreed to start carrying the gallons, but he said it would take a few weeks for them to start coming and make shelf space. So he agreed to pull the quarts because nobody else had been purchasing them since I had stopped purchasing them. He agreed to give me the quarts in sets of 4 for the price of the gallon, and he actually did it a little better because they had to ring up each item. So I got the quarts for $2.50 a piece, and I got 4 of them because that's all they had on the shelf, but he has 32 more coming. So I got 4 quarts for, I think it was $10.34 after tax or something. It was $10 and something after tax. So he's going to be great working with me like that. So once I speak with him again, I'm going to get his colors that he likes, and I'm going to do a custom piece for him to hang in his office. 1, to thank him for what he's doing, and 2, because every time somebody walks in his office for a meeting or a customer walks in his office, that is just more people that get to see my art. I am wearing gloves today, mainly because in a couple hours, hopefully I'll be done with this, but in a couple hours, I do have to go start dinner, and I'm not going to have time to go through the whole scrub my hands down and everything before I do that. So I'll still wash them, but it takes a while for me to scrub paint off of my hands. Everything sticks to me. So for the black and white, because I'm going to put them back in these bottles, because the bottles are way less than half, I'm probably going to mix them in the smaller cups. I had thought about using this larger cup that I had picked up at Lowe's yesterday, but I don't think I'm going to have to. I think I can just mix it in these, maybe 2 cups, or a few more might be, because if I don't have to use that, I'm not going to. So I'm going to mix it, shake it up first, and see. Something also that's really neat about this that I just learned is the Flow acrylic. Not all Artist Loft, but the Flow acrylic can be frozen, and it's freeze and thaw stable. So, meaning no matter what your temperature is where you are, this paint will work. It doesn't matter if you're super humid. It doesn't matter if you're in Antarctica and water freezes. This is a good paint. And that might be why the white works so much better than the apple barrel white. So that's just a thought. So I don't want to fill it too full because I do know I have to add the floeteol. So I'm probably going to pour it a little less than half. And if I knew exactly how much was in here, like if I could see through the bottle, then I could just add the floeteol here and shake it. But I can't see through the bottle because of the paint, and I don't want to do it wrong. I'm sure there are easier ways to do this. I know people are going to comment and say, well, you could have just put it in the bottle and kept testing, but I would rather do it this way and know I will add some floeteol to the bottle anyway to get some more of the paint out. But this is the way I want to do it this first time, because I normally don't pre-mix my paints. But I'm finding that it would probably be a lot easier when I come to do a pour if my paints are pre-mixed, or at least if some of my paints are pre-mixed. So I thought about attempting to pre-mix some of my paints, at least the basics, black, white, red, yellow, and blue. And I do use a lot of blue. And then that way, if I change my mind, if I decide to use different colors, I don't have to mix every color. I can just mix whatever I want to add. So there's still some paint in here. So I will add a little bit of floeteol, and this is not the end of my white, if anybody's worried. I have about 2 more of these sitting here, and I had tried to order one of the larger ones, like the other paints I have, but they were actually out of the size in the white. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of floeteol in here, put the lid back on, nice and tight. And again, it's not going to get it all out, but it will get a good bit of it out. And this process is probably going to be loud, you guys. But it'll just help me, and then I'll know that I have a little extra floeteol already in this cup here. Okay, so there's a little bit of paint left in there, but not much. So I think once I mix these, then I'll pour it in there and mix it all up, and I should be good. And if anytime I'm doing and I feel like I need to add a little more, I will throughout the process, because I'm probably going to have to. I do feel like I'll need more floeteol than what I just put. But we're just going to have some fun with it, mix up some paints today. Those of you who only like to watch pours, I know it's not as fun. But there are plenty of people that want to know how people mix their paints and whatnot. So I do a 1 part paint, 1 part floeteol, no water. And because I'm pre-mixing all of these, I will not be adding any silicone. If I decide I want silicone in a certain pour, I will simply add silicone to the pour. I'm not going to put any silicone in these bottles. Today's been a long day. For those of you who have watched before, I am still dealing with some of the same issues. There is now a very clear sign on my door. Whether it works or not, we shall find out. It did not work yesterday, so I changed it up and just took a big piece of cardboard, white cardboard, and very clearly with red paint made a do not disturb sign. and attached it to the door handle. So maybe that will stop the issues, maybe it won't. We will find out. I had planned on doing some painting this evening. I do not know if that will happen because I feel like it's going to be a long evening with a lot of stuff that's going on. There is not enough floeteol in here. I was hoping not to have to use this. Make sure there's nothing in the bottom of it, because I don't want any dirt or anything or dust in my pores. Because this was used in one previous pour that I actually didn't get videoed with my little sister, which I wish we had been able to video. Before I started YouTube, my sister wanted something special. It was actually my first large piece ever. And I haven't done anything larger than it since. She wanted, it was the biggest one that would fit in her car. I believe it was like a 36 by 40 or a 30 by 40 or something along those lines. But anyway, so her colors were pale daffodil, which is a yellow. And then, what is the name of this pink here that she used? Cameo pink, which is almost like the stuff you put on you when you get into poison oak. It's that really light pink. And the daffodil yellow was really light too. And then we had a gold glitter from Folk Art. Those were her colors. And then after we mixed all of those and added all those and did all of that, we took a bottle of the glow in the dark paint. I believe it's also Folk Art. I have a bottle here I can check, but I do believe it is Folk Art. Yeah, it's Folk Art. We took a bottle of it and she stood over it and just splattered it on while the other paint was still wet. And what that did was, when it dried, of a day you see her painting, and then of a night it's like constellations in the sky, and it's really random. And I think that turned out pretty amazing. She loves it. It's hanging over her bed. The original piece was meant for when she went to Cali. She was going to go out to Cali for a few years for school, but she graduated here. Well, up where my family's at. It's still in North Carolina, but not exactly here. I'm very proud of my little sister. For those of you who do not know, she's a cosmetologist. She has an amazing job. She is the only one I let touch my hair. And she's just smart. She's got her life together a lot more than I do. And I don't really tell her as often, but I'm very, very proud of her. She's focused on the right things and got things done. So I'm very proud of the woman that she's becoming. I'm actually kind of hoping that if things go the way they're supposed to, that I get to see her this weekend. She was talking about coming down. She was talking about going somewhere, stay at one of the beaches maybe. And so if she gets to come down, I may get to spend a little bit of time with her. I may even try to ride along. We'll see, what happens. I think this is pretty decent. I might add just a touch more floeteol to this. It's running off the stick pretty well. But knowing how paints set, they tend to thicken up just a dab. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. Probably just a couple tablespoons. And I did the white first because I'm going to use the same thing to do the black in. And it won't bother it that much if there's some white in here. Yeah, that's perfect. And this will almost fill this back up. It's showing that there's about 18 to 20 ounces in here. And this is, I believe it's a 32-ounce bottle. It says a quart, but it doesn't say how many ounces. I'm pretty sure it's like 32 ounces. So, and then I'll have to, of course, write on this one that it is mixed, so that I don't mix it up with the ones that are not mixed, because I do have other ones the same size. Plus, adding a little bit of extra floeteol there at the end will also help with any little bits of paint that's still in there, even though I know there's not much because I pretty much scraped it. It will help with that as well. I know I'm kind of blocking your guys' view, sorry. So in a way, this is kind of a meet the artist and a mixing, because I talk when I do my videos. So you'll learn stuff about me and my family, and mostly my sister though. Mostly my sister. I probably talk to her a lot more than anybody else in my family. Not going to go into it right now, but I will ask everybody to kind of send some prayers, good vibes, whatever it is you do. Everybody's different. No judging here. Prayers or good vibes or good thoughts or whatnot for my brother. He's going through some stuff right now. Very few people know about what he's going through. I don't really put stuff out there as much when it comes to stuff like that. But there are a couple of my art people who do know what's going on. Because I know I can trust you guys not to judge and not to really go about saying things to everybody. Because it is family stuff at this moment until it becomes public, which probably won't be long. Sadly. It's hard to keep things private this day and age. Okay, so I was going to write on it with a pen, but guess what? You can't do that. So I'll have to get my marker out later. I'll just sit it here so that I know. Okay, so I don't wash paint down the sink, just so people understand. I'm going to wipe some of this white so that it doesn't lighten up the black too much. I let my paint stuff soak in 5-gallon buckets, and then I drain those and strain them through coffee filters to get paint particles and mess out, so that I'm not pouring paint on the ground to seep into, you know, plants and stuff. I'm not pouring paint down the drain to go into our oceans. I'm a little crazy like that. I know. I'm a little crazy, people. I just really care about our environment. So that's where I'm at. I like the lines on this container. And this is maybe what I mix all my colors with in actuality, because it'll tell me exactly how much paint's in here, so I know exactly how much floeteol. And I won't have to guess. I know, guys, I'm being loud. Well, there's almost 12 ounces of paint so far. Almost 12 ounces. Which means I'll put 12 ounces of floeteol. Plus about an ounce, so that I have an extra to what's left in this cup. So let's measure it. So we're going to put it right about there. I'm going to mix it, and then I may add a little more. And you can already see cells forming, and all that is in here is paint and floeteol. That's why people can actually get cells without any additives. The floeteol does have chemicals in it that can cause cell reaction. But, you know, a lot of it's going to have to do with the speed you put your floeteol in, how much it mixes in with the paint prior to you mixing, how long it sets, if you shook it beforehand, because the air bubbles do help create cells. And scrape against all the edges. And see how it still kind of puddles up, and you can see where it's fell. That lets you know that you need just a little bit more. For me, some people like theirs a little thicker like that, and however you like yours is how you like it. If you like thicker paint, use thicker paint. If you like thinner paint and it works for you, use it. This is simply what works for me. A 1-to-1 ratio, or 50-50 if that's the way you want to think of it, is what really works best for me. So we just turned 12 ounces of black paint into 24 ounces of black pouring paint. Every time before I use these for a pour, I will shake them up. That will keep the floeteol and the paint from separating. And all of this will be used this month, probably sooner this month in all honesty, because I have several pours planned for this month. I have 2 people that are talking to me and interested in possible commission pieces. We shall see if those work out. And I do have a special request for a memorial piece that I'm going to do a test for soon, but I'm only going to take the job if I feel that I can make what they want and do it justice. Because if I do not think I can do it, I do not want to take on a memorial piece that means that much to somebody. I would rather give it to another artist than to mess up a piece that means that much. It's actually a memorial piece for, I don't want to say it wrong, but I do believe she was in 7th grade when she passed away. And she is a friend of the family. So, of course, that's why I got offered the piece. But, I mean, they also have other pieces by me. But it's something I have not done yet. And if I can't do it proper justice, I don't want to be the one that messed it up, you know? That's just me. It's actually a piece that I may, if I test it and can't do it, I may talk to Marcy and see if she has attempted it or if she would be willing to attempt it and get her pricing on it. Because it's just a person's memorial piece for their child is not something you want to mess up. And I'm perfectly happy with giving the job to somebody else, especially if they're more qualified to do it than I am. Okay, pre-mixed black and white. I am not going to mix the other colors in here due to the fact that they're smaller bottles. I'm going to mix them by the cup. We'll get that cleaned out in a little bit. If it dries, I can just peel it out. So I'm not overly stressed about if it dries. I know some people really stress about that. I'm not one of those people. If you have noticed, I am using the same knife that I used for all of the other colors. And I'm just constantly cleaning it. These gloves are not as comfortable as the normal gloves I use. These are vinyl gloves from the Dollar Tree. So I paid $1 for the pack of 10, but they're really just not as comfortable. And I'm probably gonna blow through this floeteol by doing this, but that's okay, because hopefully they will get a shipment in soon. With the next color, I think I'll try to pour the floeteol in really fast. I won't be able to do it as fast as I do with my squirt lid, but I think I'll pour it in fast and just see if it fills up like it normally does when I do it. But I normally have a bottle with a squirt lid on it when I'm doing my mixing up for daily pours. I also normally do not pre-mix. I did one video with pre-mixed paint, and I mix the paint and let it sit for a week to test it and see if it changed anything. And it didn't change anything. Everything still sealed the way it normally does. Everything worked the way it normally does. So I was pretty happy with it, and that's why I'm gonna do this pre-mixing, just because it will make it faster on 4 days, especially when I'm taking care of these puppies and running a house and everything else that I'm dealing with. So this will make it easier and faster. And then you guys can enjoy my art more. So this is probably gonna be a longer video. I do not edit my videos yet. My laptop refuses to turn on. I'm going to have to get one, or get that one fixed. It's all a matter of just however it works out between now and then. Okay. Pinch the edge some. And I spilled it a little, but that's okay. I will need to add a little bit more floeteol to this once it gets in here, because it's not quite as thin as I need it. But I didn't have much room in my cup. I'm not going to add much at all. I'm just going to add a little, like maybe a capful, and then shake it up to get the right consistency. And I'm not too worried about getting it all the cup right now, because I am going to mix a little bit more red. But I want to get this one consistent first, so I'm going to just add a little bit of floeteol, nice and slow. There we go. It's about a capful. And then I'm going to put the lid on. And shake it up. And this is my beautiful bottle of red. I'm going to make a little bit more red, because I would like to have more than half of the bottle. And then we're going to do some other colors. So if you're bored, I completely understand if you stop watching. Completely get it. I would love for you to watch the whole thing, but I understand. Okay. Use the last of this floeteol. I've already gone through a quart, and I have only mixed about just shy of 32 ounces of black, just shy of 32 ounces of white. I'm pretty sure this is a 20, let's see, that one's, so I think this is a 20 ounce bottle. And I'm not done with this floeteol because there is more in it. Put the lid on it, sit it upside down. I'm going to try to sit it somewhere where it's not in the way for right now. And then when I'm done, I will use it so that I don't lose any floeteol. Because even though I got this at a deal, it is still wasting, and I don't really waste. I will say that this red, this particular red, is a little more on the pink side. Like it dries like a red, but when you're mixing it or when you're just looking at it, it almost looks pink. Whereas the Liquitex red, the cadmium red, is like bright red. Or the, what is it? I think it's the Apple Barrel or the Craft Smart red. That lipstick red is awesome. I mean, this dries as a dark red, but it just kind of has that pink feel right now. That's just me. And I used to think that it was because there's floeteol in it, and the floeteol is white, and then, you know, it has to dry clear. But I realized, oh, there's a glob. I realized that that was not the case. So trying to keep it in the frame while still not making a mess. The only thing about shaking these bottles up, even though they're clear, is that the paint sticks to them, so you can't see how full they are. So you can't really tell. So, I mean, that's a little weird, but I guess you do what you can. So I'm going to scrape the edges of the cup. Bend it again. And push the rest of the paint in there. And these cups will sit aside and get used again later. Because when I do my pour this evening, I will put the colors in here. And then if I'm going to add silicone, I will add the silicone in these cups. That way I'm not using silicone. So they'll just sit to the side over here on my drying rack. I'm going to put the lid on, and then I'm going to shake it up again because I am mixing two different batches. And there is my beautiful red. So I can push that back a little because I won't need it every day now. Okay, where is it? My cups. Blue. Make sure it's not bent. There we go. It's sitting a little sideways, so it's a little bent, but not bad. Don't want it to come out too fast. I love their blue. Their blue is very vibrant, and it dries very vibrant. I have not used the Artist Loft Yellow yet. It just came in. So once I do the mixing with it, it will be my first time using it. It's been on back order for probably 3 months now online. And none of my stores nearby sell these big jugs. It's online only. And I say nearby, but the closest store is 2 hours away. And then the only other store is about 4 hours away. So it's not really nearby, which is why I order most of my stuff online. But I do order from Michael's because I've found that it is cheaper than Amazon 90% of the time. Needs to add a little more floeteol. Not much, just a dab more. By the time I get these mixed up, I feel like I probably will go through at least 2.5 to 3 quarts of paint, just for the primaries probably. Because I still have to do another cup of this blue, and then I've got 2 cups of yellow to fill a bottle of yellow. And then I'm considering, if I have enough bottles, mixing up some of the gold metallic, because I do use gold a lot. I went through that 8-ounce bottle of Craft Smart Gold like really fast. So now I have this nice big bottle of Flow Acrylics 32-ounce gold that I'm excited to try very soon, probably this evening. Kind of wish you guys could see this from the side view, just because it's crazy how satisfying it is to just watch the paint pour into the bottle. But I find weird things satisfying, like that kinetic sand. That stuff is awesome. I've never had it, but I watched a video last night on YouTube to kind of calm my nerves, and it's very calming. Also, some of my canvases came, nowhere near all of them, but some of my canvases that have been stuck at the UPS store came. UPS has been holding back on me, let me tell you. I still have packages stuck there. I had 9 packages, I've received 4 of the 9. So see, I didn't even really pour that very bad, and then I've already got some cells forming. So it is possible to get cells without adding anything. Now I do, if I want a lot of cells, I do add the OGX coconut milk anti-breakage serum to my pores. And I have had that bottle for probably 3 to 4 months now, and I'm just now below the halfway mark. A little does go a long way with that. Like 1 drop will pretty much sell up the entire paint, even if you just put 1 drop in one color. I've done some where I've put a drop in each color, and I've still got about the same amount of cells as 1 drop. I've even done it where I put the drop in the cup after I put some paints in, and then I put a drop, and then I put more paint, and it does just about the same. And the good thing about pre-mixing like this is if I shake it up and I go to do a pour, and I don't think that it's quite thin enough, all I have to do is just add a little floeteol and shake it up. But I'm pretty sure this consistency is just about right. It feels right, it looks right, as long as it doesn't change when it sets. But I don't see anybody else having issues with it changing when it sets. So we shall see. That was just about perfect, almost a full bottle. And if we can do that with the yellow, we shall be good to go. Okay. Use this cup in a little bit. Clean off my knife. Put the lid on, and we will shake it up just for good measure because I am mixing 2 different. I really like these bottles, and I don't know where you get them at because it was some of the water that they handed out through the Red Cross because of the flooding. And I honestly do not know. The brand was like Lake Placid. It was really weird. So I honestly do not know where they get it from, but I love it. Okay, so the yellow just came in. So we're going to unwrap it for the first time together. And these come with pumps, but I don't use the pumps because mainly because I was worried about paint getting stuck in the pump and drying out and then shooting dry paint up and into my work. Well, that was sticky. I may have to take my gloves off for this. Okay. Come here, knife. Always keep a knife with you on your art table. That is a given. You never know when you're going to need it. For opening something or for stabbing somebody. Yeah, that last part was purely humor, you guys. Don't nobody take that out of context. Purely humor. For art purposes is why you need it. You never know. I've had to open many canvases and not had anything. So it was nice to have my knife. I do like this yellow. I'm actually excited. It looks really rich. Looks really rich. Like it looks a lot richer than this yellow that I've been using, which is almost completely empty at this point. So I'm kind of happy with that. I also haven't had any cracking with the Artist Loft Flow Acrylics paints. I've got some cracking with Apple Barrels. I've got some cracking with Folk Art. And all of them have been mixed the exact same way. I've got some floeteol stuck in some of the grooves, so I'm trying to get it out. So mixing them the exact same way, the exact same ingredients, and noticing that I don't get cracking with Artist Loft Flow Acrylics is actually really nice. Another reason I like it so much, this is too thick. I will need a little more floeteol. I poured it from higher so that it would mix in a little bit better deep down, so I wouldn't have to stir as fast, so that I don't spill paint since I'm towards the top of the cup. And then if this is still not good enough, I will add a little bit to it when I put it in the bottle. But I think we should be pretty close. I just want to make sure it's stirred good. I may add just a touch to it when it's in the bottle, but not much. It's pretty solid. I'm loving this yellow. I'm so excited to use it. I'm excited to try their gold too because it looks like a deeper gold. It's more like a pure gold instead of like the antique gold like I've been using. The Craft Smart Gold didn't say it was antique. It just said gold, but it just wasn't, you know, like a pure gold. It had like a kind of a copperish undertone to it. I guess the way I understand it, according to colors, is that some golds have a pink undertone and some golds have a yellow undertone. I have to talk to my sister about that completely because she kind of knows that stuff a little better than me since she does hair. Because undertones evidently make a huge difference when it comes to colors. I'm not aware of any of that, but you know. Okay. So put the lid on and shake that up some. Okay. Love that yellow. Love it. Okay, I'm gonna take the lid off and let it sit. Mix a little bit more. And I'll probably stop with the yellow for right now because it is getting closer to time. I do need to go start dinner. I don't know. I guess it's weird this day and age. People don't understand as much. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, you really have dinner on the table when he gets home from work every day? I was like, yeah. It's like he works, I work from home, which is still work, but I have time to do it, so why not? We're a team, even if we have arguments and disagreements and whatnot. And it's important for him to feel like he can come home and not have to worry about a lot. Now, recently he has had to stress when he comes home because there's extra stress here at the house. But, you know, I've done what I could to make that better. There's not really much I can do, in all honesty. I am hoping that the situation is handled at this point. She said she was leaving, which, I mean, I assumed she would right around now because she's about to get her check. And this is what she did last month. Let us support her the entire month. Got her check. And then left. Blew it and then came back here and let us support her for the rest of the month. And I made it clear that if that's what happened this month, that she was not coming back. Because we have paid for everything. And we honestly can't really afford to pay for everything and have all of our bills go up. Her take her money somewhere else, blow it, and then come back and expect us to support her. So that's where I'm at on it. And it wouldn't matter if it was my family. Like, that's the thing he should know. When people in my family didn't approve of our relationship, I stopped talking to some of my family for close to 6 years. I pretty much made it known that, hey, if you don't approve of my relationship, then you don't approve of my choices. And that's your loss. You just lose getting to spend all the awesome time with me because I'm family and I'm awesome. But that was their choice. They chose to have a problem with the person I loved. Not all of my family. Some of my family were adults about things. Some of my family were adults about things. It was not enough of the family to say most. It was some of my family were adults about things. So that's where we stand on that. I used almost 2 full quarts to mix that up. And I'm still going to mix up the gold in a little bit, but I want to, actually I'm going to mix the gold up now. There's no point in doing 2 separate videos. So let me empty this last really good bottle. I had 8 of them, and I don't know what happened to the other 4. Because I set them to the side and told people not to throw them away. But again, telling somebody to do something in this household hasn't really worked so far. As you guys can tell during all the lives when I get interrupted. So, this is the Flow Acrylics Artist Loft Gold that I just got in. super excited. I haven't got to test it yet. I will be testing it this week, but I can already tell you just from looking at it that it's richer. It has a lot more of the metallic pigments. And almost shimmer. It's just awesome. So I can already tell you that I love it. And I haven't even painted with it yet. Wipe off my stir stick. This will be the last color that we mix. I'll mix 2 cups of it, fill the bottle up, and that will be the last of our mixing for this video. I may do some small batch mixing in a smaller video for people who really want to see how I do. But this is my large batch. This is actually the first time I've mixed large batches. So you guys are getting to experience another first with me. I will be trying a butterfly swipe / pour later. This week I'll probably try 2 or 3 different techniques because the memorial canvas I have been asked to do, they want a 12 by 12 canvas with a butterfly swipe. I don't think I've talked about it on my channel. But one of my sister's friends died young in middle school. Okay, guys. I am sorry for the interruption, but my phone is ringing and I'm going to have to go. So I'm going to finish mixing the gold, pour it in there. That's what it's going to be, and then we'll do a live there.